Hey everyone, welcome to my May 2023 book haul video. This one in particular, I'm going to be quite happy. My frugal ass is going to be quite happy, specifically because of this pile here. I've got more books, but this pile here is making my frugal ass very happy, given that all of this costed just, I think, less than $20. And I got some great books here, and I only paid $20 for all of this thanks to secondhand shopping that I went with a few friends. In fact, I looked up this sociology book. It's just like kind of like not a textbook really, but more, as the title suggests, the key concepts by Routledge. It was on Amazon for $35. I got this for less than $5, I think. So that is fantastic. I highly recommend secondhand book shopping. It's not really something I've done a lot, given that some of the books that I do buy tend to be rather, what's the word, not as popular as some, like, let's say, a Jane Austen or a Charles Dickens. So it's kind of hard to find exactly what I want outside of buying it from Amazon or some large bookseller. But man, what I really do enjoy about secondhand book shopping is that kind of like spontaneity where you just pick up great books by authors that you've been reading for a while and then you get it for like $2. It's fantastic. Okay, let's start off. The first book is, I've already started this book, as you can see from the bookmark. You actually can't see that. There you go. It's Alenka Zupančič's What is Sex? Man, I've only read like, 10 pages so far, because I'm trying to read it quite slowly and really let the ideas settle in me. Because, you know, sexuality, sex, these words are very loaded terms, but the kind of the philosophical and even ontological approach Alenka is taking in this book, it's at least for me, being a neophyte, it seems rather unorthodox, and I'm trying to like let the ideas really settle and kind of battle with them in some sense. And in fact, I'll be doing a book review on this for sure, because I think it's a topic worth discussing, particularly given the current political climate. The next book is now, okay, I'll take both books out, in fact. Todd McGowan, his Emancipation after Hegel, and his other book, Capitalism and Desire. This book, I've read parts of it, but I want to get through the whole thing. This one, I haven't, and man, I am excited for this because, so for instance, here's a review that Zizek wrote on this book, Emancipation after Hegel. Here's what he said. This is the book we were waiting for after long years of being bombarded by Hegel as a closet liberal, whose last word is recognition. With Todd McGowan, the revolutionary Hegel is back. However, it is not the old Marxist Hegel, but the Hegel after Marx. The Hegel who makes us aware that revolution is an open and risked process, which necessarily entails catastrophic failures. Hegel's problem, how to save the legacy of the French Revolution after its breakdown, is our problem today. How to save the project of radical emancipation after the catastrophe of Stalinism in a truly democratic country. Emancipation after Hegel would be reprinted in hundreds of thousands of copies and distributed for free to all students. Read this book or ignore it at your own risk. I really like the last sentence because generally Zizek isn't a very kind of prescriptive thinker. He never tells you what to do. He's more of like he's a critique and an analyst. And the fact that he said, read this book or ignore it at your own risk, it gives very Jordan Peterson vibes, in fact. But now I certainly am going to get to this soon. In fact, I think after, too much to read, but I think after What is Sex, I'm going to read Emancipation after Hegel. Not really even for the political aspects of it, but man, I've been so just obsessed with this idea of contradiction the past couple of months. It's been taking up all of my thinking to probably an unhealthy level, because I'm trying to analyze everything via that lens of Hegelian contradiction. Okay, so yeah, that's that book. And then, of course, Capitalism and Desire. I'd say one of my personal goals in life, kind of like a dream, is to get Todd McGowan on my podcast and discuss this book, and particularly let him elucidate as to why Marxists really need to take psychoanalysis seriously. So I'm gonna, try and work towards that and aspire towards that. But I think I haven't even reached out to him yet. But before I do reach out, I think I need to attune myself more with this work and give it a bit more time before having a conversation with him. And the next book is Adrian Johnston's Zizek's Ontology. This is also something, obviously, given that I'm a huge Zizekian, I would certainly want to read soon. Although I think this book is going to wait till the end of the year, because I want to get through some of Todd McGowan's and Zupančič's work. And, given that Zizek is this huge figure, Goliath of a figure in the Slovenian school of Slovenian philosophers, Zizek, Zupančič, and in fact, I shouldn't even say that. I should say more of the these new Hegelians, the way people like McGowan or Adrian Johnston, or of course Zizek. Zizek is such a daunting, towering figure that we tend to focus only on his work. So I want to try and focus a bit more on the other thinkers, Zupančič, McGowan, Johnston, why I'm also paying attention to Zizek's work. It's also the fact that Zizek is a prolific writer, so he just writes so much. Okay, I think I went through all of that, yes. So now, let's get to my other book pile. All of these were not really planned purchases. It's the best part of, going secondhand book shopping. You just pick up whatever's there. Yep, The Prophet by Kahlil, Gibran. My friend who I went with, she told me, she in fact read this book and she told me she hated it. But I do know some people really, really enjoy this book, and it's kind of a very popular book. So I probably won't read it this year, let's be honest. I'm reading some other stuff, but it's just always good to have in the collection. Jane Austen's Persuasions. I watched the film on Netflix. Wasn't impressed because, to be honest, I did quite like Pride and Prejudice. I thought it was quite good. But Persuasions, it wasn't all that good. The next book is Charles Dickens' Great Expectations. This is, I want to get to this. Dickens, man, I think it's kind of hard because I really do want to spend at least 6 months getting through most of Charles Dickens' work. Particularly because I think, even though I've only read Hard Times and what's the other one? I've read one other Dickens book. Doesn't matter. Hard Times for sure, but there's one other book I've read. I feel like a lot of his thinking. I mean, obviously he's a literary figure, but just at a philosophical level, at like a sociological level, what he tries to delineate in his books is kind of what I try to theorize on in society and make sense of. So I gotta take him more seriously. And then another Jane Austen book, Sense and Sensibility. Honestly, I don't even know Jane Austen wrote a book called Sense and Sensibility. I only picked it up when I saw her name, and I really like Jane Austen. So, Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre. So, is that how it's pronounced, Jane Eyre? Okay, this is really interesting. My friend Tess, who I don't think she minds me mentioning her name. She's been reading this book right now, and she recently, I love Wuthering Heights, so Charlotte Bronte's sister, Emily Bronte's book, her magnum opus, let's say, and therefore I really want to get to Jane Eyre too, or the Bronte sisters. I think that they're brilliant. So from this book, she shared this quote with me, and I thought it was excellent. It's exactly why I like the Brontes, because they're so, man, I like how crude and in some sense so like violent their writing is. It's such good writing. So here's a line by, I think it's Jane saying this, and she says, so Tess shared this with me. She says, "I am not an angel," I asserted, "and I will not be one till I die. I will be myself, Mr. Rochester. You must neither expect nor exact anything celestial of me." Let me actually change the screen so you could read it too. If celestial of me, for you will not get it any more than I shall get it of you. So this is a small excerpt from Jane Eyre, and I kind of tweeted it. And I thought that was so good. And I even commented, "The divine feminine is cringe. It's yet another patriarchal idea that hounds women." I totally agree. I am not a fan of any of this idealization of women as abstract figures. In fact, that's why I think, even Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights, because it just shows, well, love in its violence, but also the characters. They're such complex characters, and it shows a dark side of both Heathcliff and is it Elizabeth? My God, I've forgotten. Yeah, and Elizabeth. It shows both the beauty and the ugly of these characters, which for me is what great literature does. And last but not least is this book here, the Sociology Key Concepts. I'll probably never read it. It's just more like a reference book that I'll probably use it as. And yeah, that's kind of it. Those are the books for this book haul. In terms of quantity, a bit more books than per usual. The reason being is because of, again, my great little secondhand book shopping thing I did with my friends, which I'm really happy about. Alrighty, thanks for watching. Hope I, as per usual, gave you a few ideas, put a few books or authors in your mind, in your head, that will hopefully be an impetus for you to go read these authors. But just if you're into philosophy like me, I would highly recommend looking into the work of Todd McGowan. He is fantastic, and he also has a podcast. Let me pull that out too, in fact, while we're at it. It's on Spotify. It's called Why Theory. It is really, really good, this podcast here. Why Theory. It goes through so many concepts, and I've kind of been binge listening. I was going to say binge watching, but it's actually binge listening this podcast. Sorry for the abrupt ending there. I clicked stop recording on OBS by mistake. Now, the proper ending. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next book haul video, or the next video, which probably is going to be a little vlog / analysis on Kierkegaard from this book, either or perhaps his magnum opus, on Bodom, which is going to be an interesting topic to discuss. Alrighty, see you in the next one. Cheers.